Hello, I'm James McKee. We are at Sema 2024 with our 1972 GMC pickup that my wife and I built. It's something that my father-in-law and his brother picked up for us in like 2015. Unfortunately, my father-in-law passed away before he could really kind of see what we did fab-wise, but we continued to build. A good company here at MB Core supplied some of the audio products for us for this build, and I got to use a bunch of my different ideas that I had for this truck and ones that I had in other vehicles that I'd built. We used an 02 Silverado chassis, body dropped the cab and front end, obviously raised the bed floor, did a bunch of mods in the bed, used Detroit steel wheels. Those things turned out really nice. We went with a satin color on that to kind of match the faded paint on the truck. Diamondback Classics did the white walls on the Falcon tires and did a little different style on the hubcap than what those original hubcaps were. They were black. We went with the truck colors and a satin finish on that as well. And when everything's closed up, it's just kind of a low-key looking vehicle, but when it's open, there's a lot more going on. And instead of just putting a basic LS, it's a punched out 4.8. We've got different rods and pistons, trick flow heads, titanium retainers, Harlan Sharp rockers, 90-pound injectors, MSD throttle body. Got a 76mm ball bearing turbo, 4-inch exhaust all the way back. This vehicle's got an actual true dump in it, where most vehicles just like the side of it opens up. This one closes the muffler off and actually opens the dump. So we get a true dump. So we have about 4 feet of true dump pipe. On the interior, there's some pictures that are available online, but the kick panels, I wanted something that wouldn't interfere with my feet. And the MB Core drivers work really, really well off axis. So just to illustrate that, I mounted those facing straight across, and the sound stage in this is real high, real far forward. For subs, we did an 8-inch sub in the front and a sealed enclosure. I built a box inside the fender that holds those drivers. Tweeters are in the A-pillar. Then we did a pair of 12s behind the seat. Took a little modding to do that, cut the back of the cab out, welded up some 16-gauge boxes for that, and then pulled a mold out of that back side of the cab to make our boxes. We used an aluminum baffle for those 12s because they're big and heavy, they move a lot of air. So overall, I'm real happy with the sound quality of things for just a super simple system. The front bumper on this truck came chrome, but I wanted something gray to match utility bumper in the back. So we found one of these on Marketplace, favorite place for me to shop. The rear bumper, we moved it up 3 inches and inward towards the body, so aesthetically it matched. Lines up with the trim a lot better that way. The underside of the dash has aluminum panels that are trimmed out and carpet. On the driver's side, when that panel drops down, it has push buttons. It illuminates the fuse box on there. The fuse box comes through the fender up above the kick panel, so all the wiring's hidden, so there's nothing coming through the firewall. All the heat and AC come through the cab on the other side into the fender, hides all of those lines, so it keeps the firewall really clean, and it keeps the inside of the cab clean. None of the heat and AC hangs below. We've got 3 batteries in here. 2 are for the audio and air. They're excess power batteries. We ran that air system probably for a couple dozen cycles before we charged them, and they held up just great. Been playing music I forgot to plug in my power supply yesterday. Ran music all day, never ran them down. Fantastic. Airlift is our management for our suspension. It's got a wired remote, but it's just simple to run it off my phone. So we have a couple different settings on that. The fuel tank wouldn't fit behind the seat anymore, so we built an aluminum fuel cell and moved it to the back. Used a bigger pump. We have an Oasis pump in this rather than the old Viairs or Tommy pumps. It'll fill the tank in like 15 seconds. So that was, for the big truck, we wanted something that moved a lot of air and moved fast. So it's kind of the summary of our truck. My wife and I spent a bunch of time. She's helped me put the windshield in and a bunch of interior stuff and bed bolts and like all kinds of things. It's been fun, and it's a family thing. It was something I really wish her dad wouldn't have been able to see it finished or close to finish. We still have some things to do. It's definitely been a fun family project. It was this color, it was really faded. And then I just used baking soda and simple green to get the fade off of it, to kind of get it to shine. And wiped it with a wet rag and then Windex, and that's what I ended up with. The bed I couldn't get to shine as much because the paint is so fractured on there. It's kind of raised up. And if I scrub on it, it's going to break it off, and so I'd just rather leave it as is. But yeah, it's just been cleaned up. A buddy of mine, Jeff Transo, is a rendering artist, and Jeff, I don't know how he does it, but he can get in your head. So when you have an idea, Jeff can take it from your idea, even in text messages, to a rendering. He's nailed every one of them every time. So I spoke with Jeff, he drew it up. So the whole idea was like super low key. It looks like some guy just put wheels on an old beater until you open it up, and there's a lot more going on in there. Jeff is a phenomenal artist, and he's just his diversity in vehicles, his knowledge in vehicles. He's not just an artist, he's a car guy. I grew up in a body shop as a kid, so that part of the background, I knew, and the fabrication and obviously doing body work. I'd worked in a mill at one point, did millwright work, so I learned a lot of fab stuff there. But from day to day, I do abrasive blasting and coatings, mainly commercial fishing boats, so like deadliest catch boats. MB's Court was a company I started doing car stereo competitions like in the mid-90s. I had a couple of areas on my score sheet that I didn't do very well, and I needed to change my speakers, so I called these guys up, and on the phone they gave me direction, because internet wasn't big then. They gave me information over the phone on what I needed to do and how to do it. And I took that and applied it, and then I went and bought a camera, and I was film on a DVD so I could put it on the computer, send pictures, and a magazine would come in, and I'd want to know how do I build that? And I'd call these guys up, gave me the information. So what led from calling into a tech line, and then eventually into a sponsorship as I competed, turned into a friendship. And there's more to this company than just audio equipment. These guys stand behind their product. When you call, they've got answers. You can get any kind of product. You can get free stuff from anybody, but is it going to be good? The key is having something that when somebody asks me about a product in my vehicle, I chose that product because I believe in it. I'll stand behind it, and the company will stand behind it. That's really, really important. I'd rather pay for something, than rather than get something for free that was inferior. That just doesn't work for me. I can't fake that. So everything I have on this truck are things that I chose, whether I got it through a support system or I paid for it. Airlift has been awesome to work with those guys on all of our suspension stuff. When I was calling Detroit to get my wheels set up, to figure out my backspace and all that, they were quick to get that taken care of, quick to get them shipped out, all the information with it. And the clips, I was worried about the clips. I've got so much time in those hubcaps. I'm like, man, if this thing throws a hubcap, I'm gonna be bummed. But yeah, I've ripped around in it, not lost a cap. The clips are solid, so that's good. Falcon Tire was really good with us on getting those, and Diamondback Classics did our white walls. Excess power batteries, wow, those things, like I said, I've run this thing for a whole day playing music, and they just hold up. I throw them back on the charge at the end of the day. They've been fantastic. A bunch of different wiring companies. We have a lot of oxidization. I'm about 1 mile from the beach, so if something's not properly coated, it's going to go away. And with all of our wiring connections that we haven't seen any deterioration in any of that. And we used all that stuff through Tsunami. But overall, that's everybody that's given us a hand on this, and I really appreciate it. And unlike many demo vehicles at our events, this is a get in and listen. The seat looks really nice, the carpet looks nice, but you're welcome to get in and have a listen, because that's what it's all about, right? You're not building these to listen to them on the outside. You're building them to listen to the inside. Boosted_build on Instagram, that's the page. We're gonna put more of the build photos. I'll show some of the process I've done with the fiberglass work, making molds of the individual parts, pulling them out in fiberglass and carbon fiber, all the frame mods. I'll start getting all that as show season slows down.